Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back. And welcome back, No Contact Army. Have you been a good little soldier or a bad little soldier? And if you too would like to enlist in the No Contact Army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And if you would like to read the No Contact Army manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can download 2 free chapters before purchasing the book. And be sure to join me on Clubhouse, where I have a room where I can answer your questions for free. Once we have 100 members, I can start doing that. All the links for that will be below. So this week I want to talk about the one thing that you should not do, that many people do after a breakup, which is going to affect whether you get your ex back or not. And when you've been broken up with, or you had to break up with them because they were taking you for granted or they cheated, probably your first instinct is going to be to block them because you want to hurt them in some way. And you also want to scare them and you want them to think it's over so that they'll react. You're trying to get a reaction. You're trying to do something. And so you block or you unfollow, unfriend, whatever. And as I've said before, don't do that. Don't do that. You're cutting yourself off for no reason. You don't do that until at least 2 months have passed. And then sometimes even beyond that, you don't have to do that. It really depends. Sometimes I'll speak to a client and I'll say, okay, you know what? Don't block them. Don't unfollow them, even though more than 60 days have passed, because it suits that particular situation. So I have an email here from someone, and I'm going to go through what she did right, which she could have done better, let's say, so that I can better explain this process of why it's better to not block. Because, as I've said again before, when you've been broken up with, your job is to do what? That's right, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Zero. Do not lift a finger. And that means no unfollowing, no blocking, no unfriending until it's time. Okay, so she says, I dated a guy for about 2 months. He was hot and cold, kind of emotionally unavailable. Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. Just because someone is hot and cold, it does not mean they're emotionally unavailable. It could be low interest level. Interest level trumps everything, okay? Because if it was interest level, then you can bet that if he was with someone that he had a 90% interest level with, there would be no hot and cold, and he would definitely be emotionally available. Okay. At the beginning, things just seemed to go well. We had good conversations, chemistry, dialogue, laughs, and dates. Well, it's supposed to go well in the beginning. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing him for 2 months. So everyone goes, oh, it started off really well. I hope so. I mean, no one has ever said to me, oh, we started off terribly, and now everything's great. I mean, when does that happen? You may not initially be attracted to someone, but of course it's going to go well in the beginning. Okay, so she says, he started with a hot and cold, and anytime he disappeared for a week, I didn't pursue him. I was cool. Okay, so if he's disappearing for a week, something's up, right? He's probably definitely seeing other women or something. Because someone that's interested and they're dating you on a regular basis, they're not going to disappear for a week. They may disappear for a few days, but a week at a time? No. Until the last date, we were on a weekend together, and the next day he went off. This was the first day that I wrote to him that I didn't like this kind of behavior. I think when she said went off, I think she means he disappeared because she's from another country. So I'm going to assume she means that after their weekend together, he disappeared. Which, you know what? For guys, that's normal because they can't handle too much closeness with a woman because it affects their testosterone. So they need to get their testosterone levels up. And so often you'll have a great weekend with a guy and then you won't hear from him for a few days. And you'll think, oh my God, what's wrong? Nothing. He's just being a guy. So in that sense, it's okay. And so she said that she didn't like his behavior and he said his life was a mess. The usual excuse. Maybe it is, or maybe it's not. I didn't like this, so I replied, I'm not sure what she means here. Let's see our lives. I think she meant to say, let's live our lives. And stop dating. I don't want this kind of story. He didn't reply. Ooh. Okay, he didn't reply. So, boom. That shows you his interest level. He didn't even bother to reply. you know? And of course, if he was interested, he would have said, "Wait, no, don't break up with me." So he didn't reply. She said she went into no contact, and today is day 45 of no contact. I had him in my social media, and during the first 3 weeks, he saw my stories, liked my posts, but I didn't reply. Right, so he was still around, thinking that you were going to change your mind, liking your posts. After 3 weeks, I unfriended him from Facebook and Instagram. He saw this and blocked me from Instagram, but not from Facebook. So he still wants you to be able to reach out, but he wanted to block you on at least one platform because you unfriended him. See, that's what happens. It's like you're trying to get a reaction, and so it's like, all right, I'm going to unfriend him. And then they do something, and then you feel like you need to do something, although she didn't. So that's why I say do not block, etc., etc., unless you have an anxious attachment style, unless you cannot help yourself, and if you see something that triggers you, you're going to reach out. In that case, please, yes, block and do everything else. But otherwise, just chill. She says, I have his phone number. I post in WhatsApp. He sees my stories, but I'm not doing anything. She goes, am I a good little soldier? Well, yeah, for the most part, you are. However, you could have been a better little soldier. So here's the thing. And then I asked, hey, were you guys exclusive? And she goes, no, it was just a dating situation. So he wasn't your boyfriend. You weren't exclusive. So in a way, if he wanted to disappear for a week, he could. Not cool, of course. But he did. But that just shows you his interest level. I don't know if she was dating someone else, but here's the thing about dating. Dating is not just about going out, having fun, having dinner, traveling, and sex. Yes, of course it's about all that. But it's also about data collection. In fact, the first 3 letters of data are the same 3 letters as dating. Isn't that interesting? You're there to collect data. You don't meet someone on a date or see someone on a dating app and decide, yes, he's the one for me, she's the one for me. I want a relationship with that person. You know nothing about this person from just seeing their photos or just meeting them one time or dating a few times. And so instead of collecting data and then saying, okay, you know what, this isn't really working for me, I'm just going to move on, people stay and they try to turn that person, and she wasn't necessarily doing this in this situation, but I'm just talking generalities here. They try to make that person be the person they want, to turn them into their boyfriend or their girlfriend. Where if they would just look at the data, they would see the interest level is low. So in her case, I would suggest that what she should have done, and again, I don't know if she was seeing other guys, you need to be seeing other guys. I mean, that's what guys do. No, they don't see other guys, they see other women, unless they're gay. But how do you think guys are able to remain detached? Well, one is how their brain is formed, because they're not able to think and feel at the same time. They can either think, feel, whereas women can think and feel at the same time. Yes, that's one of the reasons. However, the other reason is because they date several women at a time, unless they're in an exclusive relationship. And then even sometimes if they are, they still do that. But that's another story. So they're able to keep things separate and not be too attached to one person. And that's what women have to do. And they're notoriously bad for not wanting to. And they go, but I don't want to date other guys. And you end up playing yourself because you're so focused on this guy. You're hyper-focused and you're hypersensitive. And any little thing sets you off. And then you start to complain. And of course, complaining is the equivalent of begging. That turns them off. And then they break up with you. So please, unless you're in a committed relationship, you must at the very least have 3 guys that you are focused on. Doesn't mean you're sleeping with all 3. You could be talking to one, you could be just hanging out with one, having sex, whatever. But you have to have 3 people to focus on so you don't get hyper-focused on one guy. Now, why do I not want you to unblock and all that? Several reasons. One is because you want to show them what you're doing. If they're still following you, And you got to show them that you're just carrying on, you're living your life, you're not sad, you're having a great time. And then that way, if you level up, if you glow up, they'll see the new and improved you. Otherwise, how are you going to show them the new and improved you? And also, you can do my 2 drinks trick, where it looks like you're going out with someone, and maybe you are, maybe you're not. And so if you have them blocked and all that, then they're not going to be able to see that. And the second reason that you don't want to do all that blocking, etc., is because it's a gangster move. When someone breaks up with you, or you break up with them because you had to, because they were taking you for granted or they cheated, that you don't do anything. Okay? It's like, you know what? You're so unimportant to me, I'm not even going to bother to hit the block button. Right? Because most people, they react. You're trying to send a message. And by the way, this also includes posting cryptic messages on your social media, talking about breakups and I'm the prize and la 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 la. They know that you're sending them a message. Luckily, I can get away with that since I'm a dating coach. So I can post dating messages, and if I'm dating someone, they don't know if it's for them or for the page. Hey, but most of you are not dating coaches and experts, so you can't get away with that. Because again, you are sending a message. And what are you supposed to do after a breakup? Nothing. So even posting those types of things are sending messages. You want to send 0 messages. You want no information escaping from you to them unless it's something you've carefully crafted for your social media. And the reason for that is because people hate to be ignored. They expect you to do something after the breakup, some type of reaction. So if they break up with you or you break up with them and you do nothing, you don't unfollow, you don't block, you don't post cryptic messages, they're going to start wondering, like, what is going on? And what have I always said here before? When someone starts wondering about you, that question mark turns around, becomes a hook. And now you hook them in and their interest level starts to go up. And that's the only way you're going to have a chance to get them back. Their interest level has to go up above 50. And so if she had done that, this guy's interest level would have gone up, to the point that I have an example here of someone that I was simply talking to illustrate how people hate to be ignored. I just had one brief text conversation with him. He said a couple of things I wasn't thrilled about, but it wasn't enough to unmatch him. So I thought, all right, let's see where this goes. So we chatted briefly, and then a few days later, he texted me at 12:30 in the morning. Okay? He goes, hey, what are you doing tonight? Well, it's like, what do you think I'm doing at 12:30 in the morning? If I'm not out, I'm probably in bed. I didn't say that. I didn't respond. So yeah, I ghosted because I thought, you know what? You're going to be disrespectful, then I'm going to be disrespectful. Obviously, if he's texting me at 12:30 in the morning, it's for one reason only, okay? So I didn't respond. I thought that was the end of it. He unmatched me the next day, and that was it. 3 weeks later, he sends a message, and here's the message. He wrote, ghosting? Really? I thought you'd at least send a courtesy F off text. First of all, I didn't even know there was a courtesy F off text. And is an F off text really courteous if you're telling him to F off? I don't know, just saying. So this guy reacted because he hated to be ignored. He would have preferred that I had told him to F off rather than ignore him. This is the power of ignoring. That someone who I've never met, and obviously he's never met me, we've never talked face to face, nothing. We just had a brief conversation. I ignored him and it got to him. That is the power of ignoring. Okay, so to recap, after a breakup, you do nothing. Zip, zip, zip. Zip your lips, zip everything. It's easy. You just have to do nothing. I mean, it's simple. I know it's not easy, but it's simple to do. I know people hate it when they hear someone say, oh, it's so simple after a breakup. I mean, so easy. It's not. I understand. You do nothing, and you just watch and see what they do. You work on yourself and see what happens. And if you're not sure what's going on, you're not sure if at some point you need to block, you can always set up a coaching session with me and I'll tell you what to do, okay? So I would like you to comment below and let me know, after previous breakups, have you blocked or unblocked, or not unblocked, have you blocked or just done nothing. And how did that work out for you? And in the meantime, if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can go to theartoflove.net. The direct link is below. If this video has been helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to a podcast, please rate and review. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.